Welcome to the Roy Morgan Weekly Update. Even after the Reserve Bank decided not to increase interest rates, there's not much good news in the numbers this week. First, the latest Roy Morgan poll shows ALP support down another 0.5% to 52.5%, compared to the coalition on 47.5% on a two-party preferred basis. Government confidence was down by 5.5 points to only 83 this week, dropping back after 2 weeks of increases. More Australians now say the country is going in the wrong direction, 49.5%, up 1.5% in a week, and fewer say the country is going in the right direction, only 32.5%, down 4%. Consumer confidence was down 1.1 points to 77.6 this week. The ANZ Roy Morgan Consumer Confidence Index has now spent a record 28 weeks below the mark of 80. This figure below 80 is alarmingly deep in recessionary risk territory. The latest GDP figures released last week from the ABS showed the Australian economy grew by 0.4% in the June quarter. But on a per capita basis, GDP per head went backwards for a second straight quarter. Some economists and media commentators are referring to this as a per capita recession. The only reason the economy grew in the first 6 months of this year is that the population grew substantially. More on that when we look at Australia's unemployment situation. Inflation expectations were virtually unchanged at 5.2% this week, down from 5.3% last week. Australians are now expecting annual inflation to be 5.2% over the next 2 years. Now turning to Roy Morgan's latest figures on Australia's employment. Real unemployment increased significantly in August, up 1.9% to 11%, the highest for over 2 years since March 2021. That's the month that the pandemic job support program JobKeeper ended. Underemployment, which measures the part-time and casual employees who are looking for more work, was down a little, down 0.4 percentage points to 9.1 in August. The overall figures show total unemployment and underemployment, what we might call workforce underutilisation, rising significantly, up 1.5% to 20.1% of the workforce. That's almost 3.1 million people. This is the highest combined unemployment and underemployment in the economy since January 2021, when the economy was in the middle of the COVID-19 pandemic. So what's really going on in the Australian workforce in the larger context that we're seeing unemployment at the highest for over 2 years and since the middle of the pandemic? Well, the fact is that Australia's had an unprecedented surge in population over the last year. Australia's population, aged 14 plus, largely the working age population, has increased by 706,000 compared to just a year ago. That's a record high increase and is now over 22 million. This surge in population has driven increases in both employment and unemployment. So the Australian workforce, that's unemployment plus employment, has increased by 484,000 to over 15.3 million. The number of Australians employed is now 13,648,000. That's 161,000 more than a year ago, more employed, and this includes an increase of 112,000 full-time jobs and an increase of 49,000 part-time jobs. But the growth in the population and the workforce is outstripping the economy's ability to provide jobs to all these new entrants, and the number of unemployed Australians has grown significantly. As the economy remains weak and in a per capita recession, according to some economists, it's likely that there will continue to be pressure on the economy providing enough jobs for all of those in the increasing population and the increasing workforce, all of those people that are looking for jobs. And that's a wrap for this week. Subscribe free to our YouTube channel for all the latest political, economic and market research data and insights. Thanks for listening today. I look forward to seeing you next Tuesday.